We're here for the election canvass for the 2025 primary in Spanish Fork City. That's it. Tara Silver.
So per state code, we have to do an election canvass every time we have an election. So this is the last day we can do it, so it's good we're doing it. Just for the public.
This is the last day we can do it, but the first day that we can do it as well. It's a pretty narrow window.
Yes,
we
it
just
is.
got the results.
We just got results today. So the other thing I just wanted the public to know is we do have a quorum. We do have 2 council members absent today, but we do have a quorum. So this is official, and it will be great. So I just want to start out. You are the board of canvassers, so you are going to go through these numbers, look at them, approve them, and there's some other things that the state has now required us to tell the public and tell you so that you can approve this resolution that we have.
So Tara, before you get to the numbers, I'm just curiosity's sake. Today was the first day we got the final results. It's the last day we can approve it or canvass it. What happens if a city council doesn't approve
We were just talking about that.
election results?
Yeah, we were stumped a little bit. Yeah.
Earth's gravitational pull would stop.
We try at 11:58, see if we could get everybody in. I don't know.
We don't want to find out, I guess.
Yeah.
You just say redo.
Redo.
Everybody vote again.
Right? Start over.
It's probably one of those that's not really contemplated. It's just the time prescribed is this, and yeah. And there's always somebody that has to have a unique meeting. We meet on the 1st and 3rd, and so this is off cycle for us for the primary, but it will be on cycle for us
For the general.
for the general. But there are cities who meet 2nd and 4th, so some city is always needing to do special meetings somewhere in the state.
Awesome. Thank
Yeah,
you.
we're not all on the same schedule. All right, so some of the things. First, I just wanted to let you guys know and the public know, why did it take so long? It feels like the election was on the 12th. Why are we at the 26th and there's finally getting results? So here are some of the reasons. Sometimes we don't have a signature. They will try to call that person if they put their contact information and see if they would come down and sign it. Same with your ballots damaged, those type of things. Your signatures may not match and they have to verify or have you come down and sign an affidavit. They have quite often spouses will sign each other's. They realize that happens, and so they try to track them down. You have the overseas ballots. If multiple ballots come in for one person, then they have to verify those and double check that. And then power of attorney. People who are in the hospital or are otherwise cannot do it themselves but want to vote, they're cognitive enough that they can vote. They can go through a power of attorney, but that takes some verification as well. And then if you voted provisionally on the day of the election, just takes time to validate all that. So that is why it takes so long. But here is who is advancing to the general election. For mayor, we have Mike Mendenhall, and then we have Scott Nielsen. So how this works is if there is one position, then they want to get down to 2 for the general election. And so for council members, since we have 2 positions open, that allows for 4 to go on to the general election. So we have Kevin Euler, Shane Marshall, Valerie Mills, and Brian Edmond who will advance. It's kind of unfortunate this time that one is not able to go to the general election. You kind of hope somebody gets to go with them and not just be them the only one, but that's how we are. Vaughn did this for me today. These are the precincts and how each precinct voted per person or candidate. You can see those totals at the bottom. That just kind of gives you a synopsis of how they got those results and where they came from inside the city. And we'll get to the map here in a minute where you can see a little bit better how that looks. So here is the mayor precinct map. If that candidate had the majority of votes, then they'll turn that precinct the color of that person. So as we can see, Mike Mendenhall is green. You can see where he took the majority of the votes. And then you have Scott Nielsen. He's got some yellow on there. And then Richard Dugan. he probably is, he could be on there somewhere. It's just so slight that we can't see it. And then we have the council members map. Again, Kevin Euler, you can see he's blue, and those are the precincts that he had the majority of the vote. Then we see where Shane Marshall had the majority of vote, and so forth. Just like when you go to our office, you have to check in with the reception, or you go to school, you have to check in with the front desk. Same with ballots. Every ballot that comes in has to be accounted for. And so this is just your statistics. So there was 4,609 mail-in ballots or drop box. You can see that the mail-in vote is working. That is how the vast majority of people voted. We had 24 walk-ins the day of the election, not very many. Makes me wonder if sitting there all day is worth it, but if you get 24 people to come out, I think that's great. So we have 2 who are overseas, or they are disability. They had some kind of disability, and so they went to the county and they were able to vote, or they could even come here and vote, and they have special ways to help them. We only had 1 provisional ballot the day of the election, and they were able to get through that quickly and count that. So the total is 4,636 ballots. You're going to see later on that it was a quite low turnout for us this year.
Those 24 ballots on the day of, could that have been somebody walking in and handing the ballot that they were mailed? Or is that
Yes.
somebody actually physically voting at a machine?
It could be either one. They can bring in they call it fast cast. They can bring in their actual ballot from their home, and it just gets them through faster.
But that would have been included in the 24.
Yes.
So 24 total that
Yeah,
day.
24 total. Crazy, huh? Here's another statistic. These are challenged or uncounted ballots. There was 1 signature that didn't match, that they weren't able to track down. There were 5 unsigned envelopes. That always seems to be a problem. It's sad to me that they wanted to vote, but they just didn't remember to sign it. And then there are 20 challenged ballots. That could be that a ballot came in that wasn't the right weight. Each paper is a certain weight, the envelope's a certain weight. And so if a ballot came in with different paper or something like that, let's say you ruined your ballot, so you just copied your spouse's on your regular paper, tried to vote that way, it would be challenged because it didn't have. They want to make sure it has that identification and they can tell where it came from. And there were 6 ballots that weren't cured. Cured means that they were not able to get those people to come in and rectify what was wrong with their ballot. So,
But on the others, like the unsigned or the challenge, they were able to rectify those ones?
I'm not sure. We have some statistics that will tell us exactly how many couldn't total.
Oh, gotcha.
But I don't know specifically if these ones they were able to get them. There were 93 returned after the deadline.
Wow.
Isn't that sad? That means they either went in the mail too late, didn't get to the county by 8. They went in a different box, maybe the Spanish Fork Library box, we did check those at 8 p.m. on the election day. We didn't find any, but if they put them in another election box around Utah County, that could have happened. And then also, if they put it in a ballot box outside of the county, this would have happened as well. It would have taken too long to get back to our county for it to be counted. She was going to get back to me on what the 2 non-curable reasons were. Sometimes that means the ballot was damaged or they filled in every single box, so they can't tell what they intended to vote for, or they overvoted, or something where they just can't tell what the person intended. So once I get those specific ones, I'll let you know. So you can see here, ballots cast 2023, we were a little less than 1,000 more ballots. And you can see that we went up 2,000 more active voters.
Wow.
So isn't that interesting? So we went from 28.61 in 2023 turnout to 19.5%. So whether that means people are happy with the city, they didn't feel like they needed to vote, or they had other issues, right? They just forgot, or they didn't feel like they had the information they needed to vote. So this is a statistic that they make us show to the public, and it is how many voters are withheld, which means that they have some kind of capacity where where they would be in jeopardy if they had their personal information, their voter information out. People could find where they lived. People could find different things about them, and so they're called risk. They're in the risk category where they will let people apply, and they can be, all their information can be withheld. Now, obviously, government would still need to see their information for official purposes, but it can't be used any other way. Public are those who, when they registered to vote, said, I don't care, I want my information public. You still have to pay a fee for that information. And a lot of people get confused. On here it says that they will give out your vote history. What they're saying there, you can see it in red, is that they're not giving out how you voted. They're just giving out
That you voted.
yes, that you voted. Thank you. And then private, these are people who elected on their registration that they wanted their information private. You can still get their information, it just won't have identifying factors associated with it. So you may get how they voted, not how they voted, but that they voted, and that where they live maybe even, but it won't tell you who that person is, so you cannot find them in some way. And then these are just kind of those high-risk voters who are in the withheld category. These are the qualifications for you to be able to do that. So you can see, if you've been a victim of domestic violence, why you would want your information withheld. There's also law enforcement officers, protective orders, armed forces members, anybody who could be at risk with that information getting out. So you can see there, it specifically says in the code, does not include elected officials.
We're not as famous as we thought.
Apparently
we were,
not. And then a person who resides with a person. So if I was withholding my information but my husband wasn't, then they could still find me because they know my husband, correct? So those are the categories, and that is all the information you need to know about the election. So it's up to you now to pass the resolution, or if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
Or find out what happens if we don't.
Let's let another
I'm
city
curious.
find out what happened.
I'll definitely find out after we pass this, or we don't pass this.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to pass the 2025 canvassing election resolution.
Second.
Motion made by Councilwoman Beck, second by Councilman Euler. Roll call vote. Councilman Cardon?
Yes.
Councilman Euler?
Yes.
Councilwoman Beck?
Yes.
That resolution is approved for the primary in
Thank you.
2025.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Tara, for taking
Mhm.
care of all that.
We need a motion to adjourn. We never had a motion to go in, but,
I move that we adjourn.
okay.
Second.
No closed session.
No, I don't think so.
Motion made by Councilman Cardon, second by Councilman Euler to adjourn. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
We're adjourned.